How good are AI prompt builders with RootsMagic at helping you write your family histories? That's what we're going to talk about today on Write Your Family History. So in a previous video on the Family History Fanatics channel, I demoed the RootsMagic AI Prompt Builder. Today, I'm going to do more comparison of the output you have with the AI prompts that you can generate. Because let's be honest, most family historians don't struggle with their research. They struggle with knowing what to write. You have names, you have places, you have dates, but when you open a document and you are staring at a blank screen, it's a blank screen of death and you want to give up. So I want to show you what RootsMagic AI Prompt Builder for writing can do with the data that you have in your database. And then let's talk about ways you may want to tweak things in the future. Just be aware that RootsMagic, it's not writing your family history for you. It is giving you the prompt that you need to take over to an AI model. And then you can generate a first draft, if you will. And then, like I say on this channel, don't stop there. Go and correct for inaccuracies, but also make sure your voice is involved in the writing process. So you're going to build a prompt, and then you're going to select one of the available roles. You have storyteller, blog author, children's book author, kind of defines your audience there. Most likely, you're going to do a narrative. Who are you writing for? The general public, other historians, somebody at a family reunion, elementary age children, young adults, blog subscribers. Just who are you writing for? And then how long do you want the story to be? Remember, the limits that you encounter are also going to be overlaid by the plans you have with your various AI models. So give the model an idea and then recognize it might not hit the word count, but it'll in the direction of whether it's supposed to be super brief or it's supposed to be rather long. Decide whether you want no fake information. And since we're genealogists, usually we don't, unless you are writing a fantasy book based on your family history, and then you can uncheck that. Often I want to include historical events because I want my ancestor stories to be anchored in the past. And then finally, you can choose what output you want. You say build a prompt, give it a name. I often say the role story for YA audience. Then make the selections that are relevant to the project you're doing and click save. Then you click on this green prompt and then you put it into your AI model. So that's the end of the demo. There will be links to more demos in the description box. Let's get into comparing. So this first example is as if I was a professional genealogist drafting a narrative for an academic historian audience. The output should be about 2,000 words. And we have the start of the story. William Talbot Peake was born on the date and a location of Rivertown. That's something I hadn't thought of before. So I like that the AI is incorporating information into the story, but it behooves me to go and double check that it is, in fact, a river town. But it is situated opposite Cincinnati. I do know that to be true. His birth occurred in the immediate post-war Civil War period. Notice how AI is helping you establish some setting by describing the historical context. I like that. He was the son of these two people, grew up in Bellevue alongside his siblings. Federal Census records place him in his parents' home. Notice this is an academic audience. They would be okay with reading about Federal Census records, place him in his parents' home. The death of his father occurred when William was approximately 12. I like that it's doing the math, something I teach here. Maybe with this AI, you're not going to need me in the future. Let me know what you think in the comments. One thing that it doesn't do is there are often notes that I have incorporated into my RootsMagic database. If I only use what the AI prompt model extracts from the database, I'm not going to have those notes and that additional commentary. So the way I found to get that into the model is I generate the prompt, this prompt up here. And for context, I will say refer to the PDF file that I've uploaded. And the PDF file that I'm going to get is an individual or a family summary, and then upload that to the AI model. And it will bring in any notes, any explanations that I've put into the project. So you can see the tone. It's better than most narrative reports that are generated. And it's going to be different depending on what platform you have, but it is a very good start. So now, what if I changed it to an elementary audience and I'm a storyteller? William Talbot Peake was born on the date. Bellevue was a small town along the Ohio River. Many families lived close to their work, and towns near rivers were busy places where boats carried people and goods. Notice it's giving a little bit more setting context that a younger audience member might enjoy. However, I still feel this is not adapted for young children. A couple of things that it's lacking are a story arc and even more simplified language for the elementary age good audience. And so I can then go back and say, all right, maybe I find an example of an elementary aged author that I'd like to emulate, not copy, but emulate. And I can get an extraction of the writing, say, here, based on this author's style for an elementary aged group, revise this text to match that, and then try again. And AI will often emulate various other styles. So it will pick up the syntax, the sentence structure, the length, and so forth. So while this isn't necessarily bad, I can see the difference between the academic and the young adult writing style. I don't think it would really grip anybody. And then that's our job to start improving and revising and tweaking it. But the prompt builder is not a bad place to start. Now with the RootsMagic, you can make adjustments and save those details into your prompt builder. If you want to see how to save and edit, go back to the video that's over on the Family History Fanatics channel. But one of the things that I had to train this AI to do was don't reinforce the documents that support when something is happening. So I'm writing for an elementary age audience and I'm a children's book author, but then I'm saying census records show. Well, young audiences don't care. So I did have to teach that. One thing I also was playing around with was find a story arc that will make the story interesting. Use one of the 7 common arcs, and I fed that to the project. Children's stories like to be much shorter, so I reduced the numbers than I would in a larger narrative. I didn't upload an individual summary. I just said, what can you do with the data I provide? So then we come down to the journey of William Talbot Peake. William was born on this date in Kentucky, a small town along the Ohio River. Every version starts there, almost the same sentence. At the time, river towns were busy places. While William grew up there with his parents, when he was a child, Bellevue was changing. Gives some historical facts. I would have to go and validate that with sources. Jobs like this were important. Laborers help build streets. So that's kind of little context. This is getting in the direction. Since the story arc was a move, it said around the turn of the century, William and his family made a big move. Okay, that's great. Life also included changes at home. A long journey came to an end. So it's trying to do the journey arc, but it's not really landing. So this is where AI, even though this started with a RootsMagic AI prompt, you can keep playing and tweaking, but at some point you need to leave the models alone and do your own revision. There's only so much AI can do. So I think that AI writing models is handy if you already have RootsMagic as your primary database and you're going to use AI and you don't want to have to think about writing prompts or take classes on writing prompts, then go ahead and use it to get started. But then if you want to really make your stories sing and be memorable for your family, then come back and look at the videos here on this channel and I show you how to make it better. The story arc doesn't quite land, but maybe I didn't give it a good, solid enough prompt. Maybe I needed to have a conversation about what would be the likely prompt and how to go about it. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comments section below. If you haven't subscribed to this channel already, please go ahead and do that. And for more tips and tricks on making your drafts so much better, check out the videos right here.